Welcome back to What the Flick. I'm Matt. That's Christy.
Hello.
That's Alonso. Recent news out of Hollywood. The George Martin, I believe, or I'm sorry, George Miller.
Yes.
Suing Warner Brothers.
His production company.
His production company suing Warner Brothers over Mad Max.
And Warner Brothers is suing back.
Are they?
Yeah, because they're saying that he promised it at a certain running
100
time.
minutes and PG-13.
Right, and he brought it in at 120 minutes and rated R. I'm sorry. How do you make PG-13 Mad Max Fury Road?
No.
There is no way that movie would be as good without that level of violence and intensity.
And
it's
how
germane to what they do.
And how do you look at Fury Road and go, it's not quite what we asked for.
Like less of it. I want less Fury Road. Yeah, it's all stupid. So supposedly he brought it in $9 million under budget, and there was some contractual stipulation that
they claim it's over budget, but as we know, studio accounting is the least trustworthy thing on earth.
And so that's one of the disputes, and he sued back, and apparently he was supposed to have not shot certain scenes in the script, but he did, and it's like stuff inside the Citadel.
Okay.
Anyway, and apparently because this is happening, the potential sequels, one of which is like an all Furiosa sequel, they're in jeopardy now. We need more Fury Road, not less.
Yeah, basically, shut up, Warner Brothers, give George Miller his money, and let's pretend this never happened.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. So I guess, this lawsuit's going on in Australia, and some of the documents have just been unsealed, and that's why this is news now.
Because he's suing them for money that he says they still owe him.
Yeah, they owe like $9 million bucks.
Right, and that's not an uncommon accusation that comes from filmmakers or production companies based on studios, because the old adage basically is there's no more creativity than what we see than the bookkeeping in Hollywood. Right.
Well, yeah, like when Art Buchwald sued Paramount because they had not credited him for, he had like a story credit or something for Coming to America, and they tried to claim that Coming to America hadn't made money.
Oh, listen, that's David Prowse, who's the guy in the suit for Darth Vader, suing Lucasfilm and 20th Century Fox, saying, oh, I didn't get paid enough. And they're saying, oh, well, Star Wars didn't actually make any money.
Yeah.
Right? Like, okay, sure.
Just pay him a little bit of what all those Darth Vader action figures made.
Right.
That's crazy. Yeah, so give George Miller his money. We're all team George Miller.
Definitely. Yeah. Okay, so the other news, there looks like there's actually going to be a director for the spin-off from the Fast and Furious franchise that's going to be The Rock and Jason Statham. David Leitch is going to be directing these. So that means that it's not just like, oh, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we got this? Like, they've actually attached a director here. That means that somebody's doing something serious and they're writing a script, and we may get a whole spin-off series, which... first of all, like, how mad is Tyrese over this?
I just checked his Instagram. He is not yet having a meltdown about this. Okay. But, it's early in the day.
How mad is Vin Diesel over this? Probably
couldn't say.
This is good news for Statham, I think, certainly. And not bad news for The Rock. Although you got to figure, if they do this, how do you turn Statham's character, like, how do you forgive all of the kill? Like, he killed Han. He killed, like, half that hospital in one of those movies. And so now he's redeemed?
I just think it seems so antithetical to what the Fast and Furious movies are about, which is #family.
Well, hey, he did rescue Vin Diesel's baby out of that plane.
And that is true brotherhood and love, I'm sure. But the thing is, and that was a great scene too, by the way. It was one of the more fun scenes in that movie. But the whole point is like the ensemble energy of it, and what, are they going to build a whole new ensemble with other people around them, jumping the cars out of planes and stuff?
This is like that thing where you tell the one person that we're not going to go to that party. We're going to go to the party now. It's like, I suspect, like, I wouldn't be surprised if by the time this was over, this feature, like, Michelle Rodriguez mysteriously signs up and, like, basically becomes everybody but Vin Diesel. Just a hunch.
We talked about that last week, the beef between Vin Diesel and The Rock.
Yeah.
Last week. So The Rock wins this round, I suppose.
Right. So the movie series will be basically everybody gets jobs with the federal agency that The Rock runs, except Toretto, because as far as Toretto's concerned, that would be selling out.
Right. So yeah, David Leitch incidentally directed Atomic Blonde, a few scenes in John Wick. So he does have some like action bona fides at this point.
Okay.
Still, having said that, like, I don't care about this movie. I'm not excited about a Fast and Furious spinoff, and I like the Fast and Furious movies.
You know how people refer to some movies as like fast food? I kind of think of Fast and Furious that way in terms of I don't crave them or look forward to them, but when they are served to me, I will enjoy them.
Well,
And you'll forget that you've eaten it afterward.
I think from a studio standpoint, as you know, if you're from a business standpoint, you're looking at the intellectual property here. You're actually better off starting a movie with less stars that you have to schedule, because the where we're at now with something like Fast and Furious, scheduling everybody that can work together that's tough, right? You have to start scheduling farther and farther out because everybody else has jobs, like they get booked up, right? That's why.
That was how Gary Marshall in those last few films would have like 20 famous people because they each did like 2 or 3 days and they weren't all in scenes together.
Right. Mother's Day.
Well, that's also the way Uwe Boll
scheduling.
So that's also the way Uwe Boll casts in his terrible movies, is that he won't cast until like 2 weeks out, right? And then he'll start making calls like, "Hey, you busy for the next month?" And people are like, "Yeah, okay, sure." Like, I don't have anything planned. Okay.
There is strategy.
You are my last choice, sure.
Right. No, it's just he doesn't buy.
Yeah, you aren't doing anything else. Why not?
Right.
Come get paid for a couple of weeks in Hungary. You know?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, this makes me think like it is weird, the spin-offs that start to show up or that you hear about, right? Like there was going to be the Catwoman spin-off that then turns into the Halle Berry movie, because everybody was all excited. Originally, that was supposed to be a Michelle Pfeiffer
movie, yeah.
Right? Then there was talk about Halle Berry having the Jinx spin-off.
Oh, right, from Die Another Day. Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that at all. But I find that when they have supporting characters that they then make a spin-off of, you know, whether it's the Penguins of Madagascar or the Minions or, you know, Lego Batman, when it's somebody who is amazing in small doses and really like livens things up.
Do you want
and
a
you're
whole
excited
movie
to
of
see
them?
Cars 2.
Can they carry a whole movie? Cars
2, where Tow Mater becomes the spy.
It's almost all about Mater.
Tow Mater. So I find that those are usually pretty stretched thin and are kind of a reach, and they're never as magical as whatever the thing was that they sprung from originally.
Well, you know, and you talk about how these are difficult for the scheduling. I would think also for the studios, it becomes an issue of profit partnership, where, you know, they've got all these people now who are bringing all this clout to the table and how much they're going to keep on their back end. And so for the studios, it becomes they're getting less and less of a piece of it, but then that's what they get for relying on, you know, sequels and stuff rather than trying to create something out of whole cloth. So
that being said, I might watch a sequel with the agency character that we saw in Rampage last week, like the government.
The agency
What's
character.
his name?
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Like, I might watch that movie. Right? Like,
I think that falls in the small doses category.
Okay.
Maybe.
He's the minion of the Rampage.
Oh, now come on, he's not a minion.
I like minions. I do. They don't need a whole movie unto
Are there
themselves.
side characters you'd watch a movie out of?
I like the Minions movie more than I like any of the Despicable Me movies. So
I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, you think in the moment, wow, I want a whole movie of this.
If we
and
ever
then you get it, and it's terrible.
well, right. Like if we ever get a movie about the Jesus, right? Like,
oh yeah,
right. Like
that's I love Lebowski. Do I want a whole movie about?
Right. There's been that talk for a long time. And I think there's actually somebody's taken a pass at the script. I'd have to look it up. But Turturro has talked about there might actually be a whole movie about.
And like the Coens would direct a whole Jesus movie?
No, or somebody else would. That they just would sign off that you'd get a whole movie about the Jesus.
Interesting.
Right? And maybe the story is like he was framed and it wasn't a. Yeah.
He was framed.
He was framed.
It's a bowling joke.
On that note, it's time to go. We're going to come back later in the week and we'll review some movies. But I think that's it for this week. I think that's all we got.
The main big movie coming out this week is I Feel Pretty.
Oh, yeah.
Amy Schumer,
You're going to see it.
Pretty. I'm going to see it.
I don't know if I'm going to see it.
Because I do feel pretty. I have to go see it.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us this week. We're going to come back later in the week and we'll talk about Amy Schumer movies.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. All right. So thanks for joining us and we'll be back in a couple of days.
Bye.